Hello, there we are. Yeah, it's good to see everybody tonight on the Connecting Cultures here. And I've got some good friends with me that I'm excited to have with me. And we've been friends for some time, so it's a little bit different in that sense because we've known each other for a while. So I'm trying to share something here myself while I'm doing it. So you'll have to excuse me while I do. Anyway, well, let's start off. For those who are going to watch later in the week or another time in things, we've known each other for several years now. It's gone by a lot faster than I think it has, I believe. And so it's really exciting to have them join me tonight. And I'm going to just ask for you all, just for the benefit of everybody else, to just kind of give us your names and where you're originally from, if you don't mind.
Yes, my name is Ernest, and this is my wife, Michelle. And we are both from Cameroon in Central Africa.
Okay, and Michelle, where is Cameroon at? If you can tell us a little more on that one, so we have some idea of it.
Sure. Cameroon is in Central Africa, and we have neighbor country like Nigeria, Central Africa, Gabon. Yes, those are all the neighboring country like Guinea Equatorial. So actually, we are a country with diverse religion and background, and yeah, so we are very happy to be here in America right now, and yeah, so
great. Well, thank you for that. That gives a little idea. You all have a couple of children, right?
Yes, we do have a couple of children. We have actually 3 children, a boy and 2 boys and a girl.
Very good. And you all, tell me a little bit about just kind of how long you all have been here. I'm using my country accent there with you all, I know, but how long have you guys been in the United States and in totality? Because you both came to college here as well. This didn't come here recently, right?
Not at all. Actually, myself, I'm going on like 10 years in America. So this November, that's going to be 10 years I've been here. So wow. I spent 1 year in Maryland, and then when I met my husband, I moved to Indiana. So actually, we live in Indianapolis for some times, I think 2 years. And then in Indianapolis, but I was there for like probably 6 years. And then we moved to Cincinnati for 3 years, and now we're back here. So in total of like for myself, 10 years. But Dominic has been here for a long time, and he can share that with you.
Yeah,
so Ernest?
Yeah, I've been here for 16 years. So originally moved in the East, actually in Denver, Colorado. I moved in Colorado Springs. So I spent about a few months in Colorado Springs. Then I moved to Maryland. And I spent about a couple of years in Maryland. And I've been here in Indiana. And when I decided to go to grad school, right? So I decided to come to Indiana to go to Indiana University. So, and I have been here in Indiana for the last 13 years.
13 years. Now, how do you actually pronounce your last name? Because I always get it wrong, even though we've known each other for several years.
Camonnier.
Camonnier. And yes. Is that a little bit of the French component of where you're from?
Exactly. The way we pronounce it is the French component, but really my name is the name that we give to twins, right? Whenever you have twin children, you give that name to one of them, right? So my name is Camonnier and my twin sister is Chermonier.
Oh,
so
okay.
All of them is Nye.
How interesting. So, and that's the case for all twins then within your culture?
That's the case for all twins from the area where we came from in Cameroon, So because Cameroon is, there's a lot of tribe, there's a lot of region, So the name would depend on which part of the country you're coming from.
Okay. So tell us about, because you're from slightly different parts of Cameroon, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where are you from, Ernest?
So really where I'm from is, I'm from the western part of Cameroon. Maybe I'm going to go back a little bit about Cameroonian history. Cameroon was colonized by Germany first. After World War II, the Cameroon was split between Great Britain and France.
Because the German lost the war.
You know, because German lost the war, right? So part of Cameroon speak English and part of Cameroon speak French. And the area we are from is what we call the Grassfield. The Grassfield region is the region that encompasses the region that speak English and very few, you know, from the Bamileke area, you know, so that's the region you are from, the Bamileke region of Cameroon.
Very good. And Michelle, what area are you from?
Yeah. Actually, we come from the same region. The village is a little bit different, but actually it's the same area, it's the same grassfields, the western part of Cameroon. Actually, the language is quite similar because actually, even though there's a little bit of difference, but it's definitely similar. So it's actually the same part of the country.
So you have your French is a primary, just kind of universal language for everyone there.
Yes, actually, it's the official language. It's the language that everybody from every part of the country, like the western, the southern, the northern, can speak in office and everywhere. But beside those two languages, French and English, because actually we have like 10, we call it over there regions. But actually 8 of them speak French and 2 speak English. Okay. So we actually come from the 8 part who speak French, and then there's 2 part who speak English, 2 regions who speak English, who are north and south west.
Okay, so, and there are other languages then that are tribal languages, is that right?
Right, and then we have about 208 tribal language in Cameroon.
Okay.
Yes.
So don't quote us correctly on that 208 because I would say it's about 332, right? So that's my estimate of how many tribal languages you have in Cameroon. You know, some of them very, very similar because when we say that, you know, from the same village, basically her village is where? It's from here to here in Franklin. It's from here to Sam's Club, you know, so it's not that far, you know. So a different variation of the language, you know. So, but overall, we can say if you want to combine them and put to something that is similar, we would say about 100, you know. So.
Wow. So if I had to give it an exact number, it would be a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
A bunch of language, yes.
Well, Annie has a question about, do you get to go back or do you go back to visit family much? And a little about that for us.
So, like I said, I've been here 16 years and I've been to Cameroon 2 years, so twice only. One of my commitment is to go there often, you know. So, but with my work schedule, family, and so on, you know, it makes it very difficult, you know. But at least that's one of my commitment. And Michelle, you know, she was back home 2 years ago with all the kids, you know, our 2 kids, you know, Nathan wasn't born, so she was back home, and she's been home 3 times already, you know, in her 10 years. So we're trying to get that, encourage that, and get the kid the exposure to both our Cameroonian culture, you know, our family, and also the American culture, you know. So although we haven't been really, like I said, personally, I haven't been, you know, that's one of my commitment, you know, it's just a matter of scheduling, you know, so that makes it difficult.
And right now, is travel open to go to Cameroon with the COVID?
No, travel is not really open to go. Actually, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and he's like, my mom was like, oh, I need to go back home. She's like, okay, you're going to go back home and they're going to send you back, you know, because that's something that have been happening. There's few people that attempted to go home, you know, whenever it's not an emergency, and when you get there, they will send you back, you know, so it's not open. So, and we don't know when it's going to be open.
Yes, because your mom has been here for some time, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's been here. She came February, and her target was to be here for 2 months. But shortly after the COVID, and it make it very difficult for her to go home, right? So and on top of that, you gotta know to go home is a very long distance. It will take at least 24 hours, right? So the the shortest distance to get home will be around 28 hours. You know, the longest you can go to 48 hours, right? So it's very, very long because you always have to transit through Europe, right? And then get there and take a different flight to Africa.
Okay, very good. So now, what led you both to come to the United States? Because you didn't know each other in Cameroon, did you, or did you meet over here?
So no, we didn't know each other, you know. So really, what led me to come to the United States? I mean, I wanted to better myself, right? So I have a master in economics, you know. So, but wanted to further myself. Initially, I was thinking of continuing my education, you know, in postgraduate in economics. But with some exposure that I have in Cameroon in accounting, so I decided to move here to go to grad school, and that's where I decided to go and get my master in accounting at Indiana University, like I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah, very good. And how about Michelle?
Oh, myself, I come here to a program called Diversity Visa. It's actually organized each year by the State Department. So it encourages immigrants, but people from a country where they issue limited United States visa to come here and develop themselves, embedded themselves, to work and live here permanently. So that's how I came here, because in 2020 and 2010, I got selected through that program. And within a year, me meeting all the requirements, which having a high school degree and being able to be at least 18 years old, I was qualified to come to US. So that's how I come here to US, because actually at that time, in 2010, when I got into that program, I was already in university in Cameroon, and I was over 18. So I qualified, and I decided, okay, who doesn't take that opportunity? So it was a great opportunity for me to come to US, and I just jumped into it.
Yeah, very good. So we have a question. Actually, it's from somebody I actually know as well, but it says, what would be something helpful you could recommend to us to do in supporting and helping people come from different countries?
So would you mind repeating that, Pastor Eric, again?
Sure. What would be something helpful you could recommend to do in supporting and helping people coming from different countries?
Yeah, I mean, something that we can do is really getting them some exposure, putting some fun, you know, giving scholarship to people from different culture, you know, even if it's no scholarship, getting all those pastoral exchange, right? So because I know in some culture or some church will come and do some exchange between pastor, right? And bring young people who want to go into fellowship and God, you know, and bring them just to see how we worship in US, you know, and also one of the programs that we have been seeing people developing is young leadership, right? So basically, we are taking all those young kids, we are giving them the opportunity to come to US through exchange program for 2-3 months. By doing that, what we are exposing them to betterness, you know, excellence, you know, and something that they can do better. And what we have observed is by doing that, those kids, whenever they go back to Africa, they work hard and they want to better themselves. And after that, they want to come to US, and most of them are very successful, right? They are engineer, they are doctor, but only by doing that we were able to give them those chances, you know. And sometimes some of those kids, they are from very, very poor family, right? So just to summarize, yes, maybe putting some scholarship for those kids just to come and visit, getting some family to receive them maybe for 1 to 3 months and sponsor a kid, you know, to come and see how America is, you know, and show them another face of America, right? So because sometimes the face that you're showing on TV is not always the face that we recognize. I can tell you one thing. I was very excited about coming to the US. But earlier on, maybe in the 1980s, there's a lot of people who didn't want to come to the US because the only thing they could see about US was the shooting, right? In Chicago, Chicago, you know. So, and I actually have a friend who actually came to the US, and the wife said no about coming to the US. So she went to UK with her children. It's only after 5 years that the husband was a murderer that she decided to join him in US, right? So, yeah. But overall, there's a lot of program, scholarship, exchange program, whatever we can do to help people, you know. So, and that should be a two-way, right? So for me, people moving from here to go to Africa to see what Africa is all about. What can we do for Africa, you know? Trust me, it's not a jungle. It's not a jungle. You're going to live a good life. it's going to be, most of the area are safe, you know. So, and at the same time, it's going to get you exposure, you know, to see some of the things you can contribute to help, right? So, and if somebody want to visit, honestly, if somebody want to visit Africa, Cameroon specifically, I will actually volunteer to help them, right? So they wouldn't need, all they will have to do is buying their ticket. They wouldn't have to worry about where they have to stay, you know. So if they want to, you know, really, if they really want to explore and have, you know, and understand our African and Cameroonian culture.
So you're taking Joyce and I with you all the next time you go, is that right?
Sure, Pastor Eddie,
okay.
you want
I know that. Wanted to get that on camera and recorded.
No, and for anybody who is listening, they want to visit Cameroon, especially Cameroon. All they have to do is buying their ticket. They don't have to worry about what they're going to eat. They don't have to worry about where they're going to stay. You know, so for them, it's going to be at the same time exploring our culture. You know, having fun, but also seeing what Africa is all about, you know, the solidarity in Africa, you know, the welcoming of African, you know, and so on, you know.
Sure. Now, Michelle, I've got a question for you. And to kind of take that same question and put it more on a personal level, say if you're coming from someone's coming from another country, what would be something helpful on an individual level we could do for someone like you all when you came? What would have been helpful for you to have somebody from America to do just on an interpersonal relationship level?
I think for me, the first thing will be how to make them easily integrate America, and it usually come by language. Because actually, sometimes when we come here, depending on the country, especially if it's a country where we don't speak any English, it's very difficult for them to integrate because they don't speak the language. So something that we can definitely do to help those people is to see how we can put in place some area where we can help them learn English. So having maybe some, how does it call usually, the ELS centers, to the church, so that can definitely help them on the personal level, because actually this is one thing that I face when I come here, especially coming from a French part of the Cameroon. I wasn't speaking any English when I was coming. I was speaking bare English. So even today, I don't speak very good English, but I'm trying. So I have to go to. I have to go to.
We all don't have. Don't
to college, but to those centers to be able to learn English from scratch and easily get integrated to go to school and later on able to work in the area.
Let's say if somebody moves on your street, what are some things that individuals could do that are from America? If somebody from another country moves onto their street, you know, so we're talking very personal level, because very often we are uncomfortable or we don't want to invade other people, and so we're a little bit hesitant to engage somebody that's a little different than us or their language is a little different. What is something that we could do when someone moves here, I guess? Because there's a lot of population that does move here.
So I know you want Michelle to talk, but I think I'm going to try to answer that, and she can add to that. You know, I'm talkative, you know that. So Pastor Eric, really, what I think we need to do when somebody move in the street, and you know, we've been here for 6 years, and we moved away, and we came back to the same house, right? So that show you guys how much we love this subdivision and the people like you, all our neighbor here, right? And why that? And the reason of that is the way you felt welcome in this neighborhood. When we first moved here, one thing that our neighbor did was just something as simple. We didn't talk to that neighbor as much as we did with you, but the neighbor came and welcomed us just with a tray of cooking. We personally only see that on TV, right? So we never actually live that, you know, but we will see people doing that on TV.
Very good.
And then my neighbor, Pastor Dan, if I can call his name, you know, so he will always try to offer anything he can do to help me. He will mow my lawn or my other late neighbor, you know. So I mean, hopefully he resting in peace. He was very nice. He actually mowed one of my lawn, you know, just to welcome me. On top of that, people like you, my mom actually call you my. I mean, although you're not old to be my father, because you're my elder brother age, right? My mom always call you my older dad. Always, my mom that so why? Because she feel like anything when I'm having a trouble in my house, she said, "Oh, did you talk to Pastor Eric?" Right? Any single thing that I have, issue, challenging, she's asking me if I talk to you. So, but that was really the way you got inviting us into your life, the way you got welcoming us and making us feel comfortable, right?
Mm.
So I think we just have to be natural. The answer is we just need to be natural, welcoming the people. Don't feel resistant. Don't feel like they are not going to open their door, because that's what they are looking for, right? That's what they are looking for. And my friend that he actually went and bought the house, and he told me, Ernest, I was hoping that my neighborhood was going to be like your neighborhood. Your neighborhood is so livable. People are welcoming. We had a birthday and everybody was there. It was so fun, so and he barely talked to his neighbor where he lived, right? So
Yeah.
he doesn't feel like welcome, right? He would love to move back here. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I answer your question, but
No, that's very good. Yeah, especially about clarifying that I'm not old enough to be your dad. That was really helpful to me.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. It's important because we are afraid to engage very often because we don't want to invade people's lives or make them feel like we're pushing. But at the same time, you don't know anybody, when you come. So, what are some challenges that you found living here, just coming from another country? Even some of the things that you've encountered that just are maybe in the sense of personal level, or even on a level of just culture differences that you've encountered.
I will let Michelle speak to that, and if I need to add, sure, I can add too.
Actually, for me, on the personal level, I think when I first moved in about 10 years ago, for me, the cultural shock was very, very broad, but it hit me so hard because actually, I usually come from a country where we don't see all these people moving around that much. Especially when I come to DC, it was like, oh my God, constantly moving. And also like I would take a small example on even like getting a taxi. Like in Cameroon, we don't have to wait for a personal taxi to get. You can just walk on the road and you can just
really
call a taxi, and we are 4, 5, 6 people in one taxi going to the same direction.
Oh, so wow.
All these things, maybe a little bit it was quite challenging for me at the beginning. So and also I can say food, like the food that we eat here is totally different from the food that we eat in Cameroon. Even though now there's some store that kind of coming and sell those food, even though it's quite expensive, but trying to acclimate myself with eating American, like getting some burger at dinner. Actually, I truly never understand how people can eat bread for lunch, because for in us in Cameroon, when we want to eat lunch, it's kind of some soup or with some, we have like some carb on the side, like rice or anything like that. But here the culture is like more eating a burger or fries and everything like that. And also it was quite challenging for me to get adapted to that. So and also I would say the language. As I mentioned earlier, when I come here, it was totally impossible for me to sit down and listen to the TV, to listen to the news, to speak with people at the store, because my English was not quite well. I was having so many difficulties, but as time goes by, it's getting better. But definitely, those are the challenges that I face when I come here.
Yeah. So when you mentioned your English, was it were you afraid to ask people things because you were afraid you would be embarrassed by your English level, or what was the challenge there?
Yes, actually, I was. First of all, the fact that I really didn't know exactly what I'm going to say to ask something, because actually the vocabulary was not there at all. And even when I get the vocabulary with my accent, I was so embarrassed to pronounce a word, because actually I didn't know the correct pronunciation. So even now, even when I was working, and I get so nervous when I have to talk to people, because I feel like, oh my God, even though I know exactly what I'm going to say, even with my vocabulary, with my accent, are they going to understand me? Till now, I still face that kind of the challenges.
Yeah. Well, and I would say, you know, it's been interesting for me just in the years that we've known each other, how much your English has changed, in particular, Michelle. And you know, I understand you both quite well. And every once in a while, I think it's important for people from other cultures to realize, much like you with English, even though you might have known a little bit of English to begin with and couldn't understand everything, you would pick a few words out, right, and kind of put them together that you did know. And that's the same way for people that are listening. When I'm listening to English or someone else is listening to English, that may not be totally perfect, but we pick the words out, and you know, I think it's still worth taking that risk to communicate. And I'm glad you all always have. So, some kind of a question about culture. Are there any things in the Cameroon culture that would be helpful for someone who's not aware of it to know about? In other words, if someone were to come to your home, or you were to go to their home, something that would be different that would be helpful for them to know about, that we would be totally unaware of or not realize?
So Pastor Eric, just on top of my mind, honestly, I don't see anything. All you guys have to be aware is Cameroonian culture. We are the country is divided into two. One part is actually Muslim, and one part is Christian, right? So depending on the Cameroonian you are meeting, it may be Muslim, he may be Christian, you know. So that means if you're receiving one of them, you may want to know, because you don't want to cook the pork, right? For the Muslim guy, because they don't eat pork, right? So that's really the only thing that will come on top of my mind. So and as far as that is concerned, most of the Cameroonian, both Muslim and Christian, they all live together, right? So that means we mingle together. There's no conflict as part of me being Christian and somebody being Muslim. So we are very friendly. We can attend going to the church and going to the mosque, you know, all together, you know.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that will come on top of my mind. But otherwise, I think the rest, you know, yes, we eat a lot of spicy, right? So if somebody doesn't eat spicy, and we need to welcome them, we need to be cognizant when you're cooking those, you know. So and maybe for you guys, maybe just getting some spicy stuff on the side if somebody wants to eat spicy, if you're having a guest, you know.
Now, how about time? In the sense of how you view time versus the way a typical American culture, would that be different at all?
The typical time, I think, of course, we don't want people to ring somebody or call unless it is an emergency, right? So I think the same culture here apply. You don't want to call somebody after 9 p.m. if it's not an emergency where you really need their help or pay visit, you know, unless it is really urgent, you know. So that's the only thing. Of course, you can come in the morning, right? So, but mechanism maybe for those, if it's on the weekend, for those who want to take a little bit longer of sleep and waking up around 9 o'clock, you know. So those are those things that I think both apply to both Cameroonian culture and American culture. And I think that is actually not really, I think that one is about respecting other, you know, and respecting other, you know, boundaries, you know. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, how about if you're invited to go somewhere at a certain time? In America, we're caught up on, you know, 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock. You show up at 5 o'clock kind of a thing. How would that, would it be the same in the Cameroon culture that you would come on that exact time, or how would that work?
No, it's not going to work that way. And personally, I struggle with that because I want to be on time, right? Personally, that's the way I personally do, right? So I want to be on time and I want people to be on time, you know. But Cameroonian here in US, although most of them, they have a job and they get to their job on time. 7 o'clock, they are at their office. But whenever you're having an event, a Cameroonian event, when you tell them 7 o'clock, they're going to come at 9 p.m. You tell them 7:30 p.m. So yesterday, for example, when I was talking to my friends, that okay, my event going to happen at 6, but I'm going to tell people 5 because I want to give them extra hour, you know. So that's just the Cameroonian culture, you know. So I mean, it's not something to applaud, right? So that's something we need to eradicate because I don't think it is. I don't think that it's a good thing to do, but that's what happened every day.
Yeah, and it's, I think, an important component for us as Americans is to realize that those cultures are different. And for that reason, otherwise we can get offended as Americans by somebody being late for things and not realizing that it's just a different culture. It's not meant to be a disrespect or offense at all. It's the way you would normally operate, right?
So Pastor, yes, Pastor Eric, but I think I think that's where Cameroonian or African need your help, right? You have to be a sincere friend. You have to be a sincere, and that's it. Go back again. Whenever you welcome somebody and you got build a good relationship, you can be candid with them, because our success in this country depend on how we can hold ourselves accountable, and that means that comes from the basic. If you cannot do the basic, I cannot give you a big responsibility. If you cannot be on time, I cannot assign you a big responsibility. So be honest with all of us, as part of our integration, our adaptation to the culture, to tell us that no, 5 o'clock, you're running very late, and then you didn't even notify me. If you notify me that you're running 5 minutes late, it's okay, but you're not coming 1 hour later, right? So if you're not doing that to those people, if we, American, Africa, you guys, that is already here, that is already ingrained in the culture, I know, giving that message, that means we are missing on coaching and educating those people for the future and for success. And I think that's an area of opportunity.
Okay, very good. So what are some assumptions that you found, or have there been any that you found that people make towards you? Maybe it's because of your accent or whatever it may be that you wish they wouldn't make, just that you've encountered here in America.
I mean, I let Michelle speak to that, but if not, I can speak to, right? So,
you start first, please.
So really, I mean, I think one thing is when people hear your accent, they just feel like you're the dumbest person. I mean, this guy, he can't speak English, so that means he's not as smart, as I would have think, So, yet I'm going to say one thing: African, and I'm not going to say Cameroonian. Most of us come here to better our life, and most of the people who come here is people who have advanced degree in college, right? So they are professional, they have PhD, they are engineer, and so on, But that's just the misconception that people will do, when you start speaking, when you open, this guy, he can't speak English. That means that he's nothing. He's nothing, I mean, he's worthless, right? So that's just the perception from my standpoint, So.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because we're about the only single lingual country in the world for most of us, where others such as yourselves are multilingual. How about you, Michelle? Is there anything that, even from a female perspective, assumptions that others can make, or even the way people interact with you?
As of now, I cannot think of any assumption, Pastor Eric, but
sure. Okay. Yeah. Are there interactions that you found that are different that you didn't realize or you realize now? And that can be any way from the way men interact with men, women with women, or men and women with each other. Are there things that are different there that we may not be familiar with, the way you greet individuals, or any of those kind of things?
So, Pastor, the one thing that I would say is in Cameroon, we are used to tapping ourselves and tapping our friend, on the shoulder, and on touching each other, right? So that's something that here we are very cognizant of not to do, right? So especially for us, maybe some of us, we have took law school, right? We took some classes on law, and somebody can sue you for battery, and so on, unwilling touching, and so on. So, but that person coming from Africa is just a part of our culture, It's it didn't mean to be offensive. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a boy, but that's something that people have to be cognizant of. If that happened to them, coming from an African touching them, they should just know that maybe that person wasn't aware, right? That it wasn't something that they should not do, right? So I know Michelle know it, because as part of going to college, we were educating in the law, right? So this is what, people can perceive. This is what you should not do, So be forgiving, for those people, be forgiving. Don't just assume, So
yes. Very, very true. I know it's very much in the sense of maybe more of a touch-oriented culture than America would be. It sounds like then.
And actually, what I can also add, Pastor Eric, is that I think it's also a cultural thing, because actually, from us women, when we speak in Africa, we don't have a tendency on looking the eyes to people who is more older than us, or even to a partner. Actually, here in America, I can do that to Dominic, but if you were in Africa, when it's up to me, I'll have to look down, because it's a sign of respect, it's a sign of submission, and you don't have to look for people in the eyes. So when I'm in America is a little bit different, because if I come to you, Pastor Eric, and I talk to you and I bend my face, you will feel disrespected. Like I don't look at you in the eyes when I'm talking to you, or something like that. But it's just because it's a cultural effect.
Okay.
And yeah.
And that's a real, actually, this years we've known each other, I didn't know that, that difference. Yeah, and we can read it as either being shy or being sad, or those emotional aspects of it, or being uncomfortable around us.
Exactly.
Instead of being a sign of respect. So that's unique. I didn't realize that. I always wondered why when I walked your way, you turned around and looked the other direction. I wasn't sure what it was.
Aesthetic.
And it's the same thing also with the handshaking, because actually this is also a cultural thing, because actually what we usually do is that when you're greeting an older person, you don't have to give your hand on the first time. You have to wait until that person gives you his hand before you respond it. Otherwise, it will be a sign of disrespectful. Cultural.
So that's different. So if somebody older than you comes to you, then you wait until they extend their hand towards you. Correct. Versus you doing it first.
Exactly.
Very interesting. I did not realize that.
Yeah, and you don't have to squeeze a hand. Like sometimes here in Africa, here in America, that you have to have a firm handshake.
Yeah.
So don't mind me if I just hold your hand and I don't squeeze it, because actually for me it will be like, why do I have to give you a firm handshake? But here is a sign of what, Dominic? It's a sign of like you have to give a handshake, right?
Yes, and then again, it's an area of opportunity, So whenever you get a chance to greet somebody from Africa, if they are not giving you a firm handshake, I think it's an opportunity for you to coach them, right? So because moving into your profession, if you cannot do that handshake, you're no welcome, right? Because they see in you somebody who doesn't lack the confidence, right? You're no firm, you're not, and then the same thing go with looking somebody when you're talking to them. I don't want to be talking to one of my colleague or employee and they are looking down, right? So that is not a good sign, Either they are not listening to me. My assumption is either they are not listening or something is going on, So although it's a cultural issue, those are barriers that we need to transcend. Those are barriers that we need to overcome.
So in Cameroon, in a workplace, for instance, if somebody that was a manager above you came to talk to you, would you then you would look down instead of look in their eyes?
I think at the professional level, I think it will be looking them in the eye. You're not going to look down, but the point is it has to be mitigated. Don't just fixate them too long, So what you need to do, and you need to change, looking in them and move, looking down and so on, So it's going to be a variation of both of them,
Very good. Well, good insight. Stuff that I didn't think about that could be different on it. So in the typical life of, we'll just take a few more minutes here, because I know you've got the 3 kids and things to take care of, but don't want to keep you all evening. But just, I guess in a typical day in Cameroon versus here in America, what are some differences that might take place for you as an individual if you were still living in Cameroon, and how you might go through the day, or how it might look for you? Is there any difference?
For myself, I don't think that there will be that much difference, because actually as a working professional, if I was working in Cameroon, I would definitely wake up with the kids, dress them up to go to school, dress myself, go to work, come back in the afternoon, cook dinner for them and have dinner. And maybe if you have a family visit, yes, we can have this family coming over, eat dinner with us, and then after that,
So pretty typical then.
yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the weekend, the good things that during the weekend, regardless, maybe here with the coronavirus, we don't go to see people, but actually over there, it will definitely be some kind of visit. And one thing that I also want to add is actually just the way we do in Africa. We don't usually have to call a family member to tell them that we are coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one thing. You usually don't have to call them, and we just stand up and we go there. If they are home, usually they are. We just spend the time with them, and if they're not, yeah, we come back. So.
And it's okay to go and just make yourself at home then and it's expected, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Pastor Eric, I know I have been doing some of them with you, so I apologize for that, right?
No, we're always thrilled to have you come over. It's outstanding to us. No, that's great, but that is very different. And some of the misconceptions or perceptions that people might have of Africa's sense is a sense that maybe it's underdeveloped or that it's not technologically advanced, or are some of those accurate, or in the medical field that there's some differences? How does that look in comparison to here? Just to give a snapshot real quick.
So, Pastor Eric, that's a very, very good question. Depending on where you're in Africa, I would say Cameroon have a lot of very, very good hospital, right? So they have some of the best doctor, foreign trained doctor, but the only issue there is corruption, right? So that means the hospital equipment would not be maintained. The doctor is not getting paid well, so they end up finding themselves in the private clinic, So where they are making money, and whenever you come to the hospital, then you may have to get paid them before they give you services, in the hospital where they're supposed to receive you first, and so on. So that happened in a lot of sub-Saharan African hospital, So, but as far as the doctor themselves, they are very, very well qualified. They are very well educated, And I think it's mostly of the governance issue, right? And on top leadership, what they need to do so that the hospital can do their job better, So that's what I would say. As far as development, some area are very, very developed, like here in US, you will not realize that those are Cameroon or Africa, some area are very, very well developed, So, but things like telecommunication is still in area, so Wi-Fi and so on, so there's still a lot of things we cannot do in Africa like we do here. But I think all of them is about leadership and governance. Africa is very rich, Okay. Cameroon have diamond, Cameroon have gold, Cameroon have petroleum, so the resources is very, very all there, but you're going to see people who are taking ownership of our taxes, and they are using for themselves. You're going to see people who have all the fanciest car you can see. They have a parking of 20 cars. They have houses that are palace, right? But yet we don't have good road because they are just taking all those money. So those are overall African issue. So that's why I think thing will change. The more people are getting educated, people are innovation with technology, internet, people are going to open the eyes and they're going to see that they deserve better and they're going to start requesting more, And I think with that going to come more accountability, and so on, and there's going to be a lot of change. But overall, Africa is still what I would call a new area, a lot of opportunity, right? So, and I have to share with you guys. Personally, I've been here 16 years. Professionally, I'm happy. I have to be honest. I'm being very, very blessed. But I've been considering and thinking a lot about going back to Africa because I think there's a lot of opportunity to give back. People who are there, and still live a better and a good life. So that's what I can add to that.
Well, very good. Well, thank you. Anything you'd like to add, Michelle, before we let you get back to you all dealing with the kids for the evening?
Oh, yes. Actually, just go to the same road as Dominic and you guys, and saying that some of the assumptions are right. being really a developing country because of we don't have good technology. We still way back in the rear, like here in the US, or maybe having all these well-structured hospitals or education. But at the same time, it's just because all is mentioned, leadership and governance, and we definitely have to work on it. So, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, I appreciate you taking your time this evening for us. Yes, sir.
Pastor Eric, I think I want to add one last thing. I think I talk about it, but I think for me it's so critical, the help that new people coming to US, what kind of help can we provide them? That's one thing that I want to talk about it a little bit again. So along the way in this country, I have met a lot of people, so when I moved from Maryland to go to grad school, the only way I was successful was because of my dean, who understood that I came from a different culture and who need to accommodate me, who need to coach me and make me feel welcoming, right? So that was one thing. And then when I first get my professional job with a company, I was so lucky to find an Indian man. He was my boss. And moving from Indianapolis and Bloomington to Evansville, Indiana. So I was there by myself. I didn't have any family. So he understood that.
Yeah.
And he welcomed me. He did everything that he needed for me to feel welcome and feel myself home, right?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing we need to do. We need to welcome people because they are sitting there. They are looking for the first chance to fail. They are looking for the first chance to be the bad man in the society, right? So we need to do whatever we can give to give anybody a chance to make sure that they fit themselves and they contribute to our country, to the development of this country, because I think most of those people coming, they are very smart,
Yes.
Border closing or anything, and so on, no, those people are smart. We just need to make sure that we invest in them, we coach them and making sure that they are ready to work hard and develop this country for the next generation.
Yeah. I think it's great insight. Yes, Michelle.
And I would like to add, Pastor Eric, that please, especially on the personal level, do not make any assumption. Because actually, as you were mentioned, Pastor Eric, that, okay, you might never know what the person is actually looking for, how the person going to feel. But to be honest, you just have to go because this is exactly what the person is actually expecting. Because when we first moved to this neighborhood, actually, we were really expecting you guys to welcome us. But you guys sitting on the side didn't expect to come. You'll be like, okay, maybe those persons are not welcoming. So I think what I would like to say is that do not assume that the person is not expecting that, especially the newcomer. He didn't expect you guys to come and embrace him. And definitely he will be so happy and he will do it.
Yeah, he will be very happy to have you, right? Basically, what she's trying to say.
Yeah, he will be very happy to have you, to be around him, to know that he has person around him who's supporting him and he can rely on.
Very good. I think it's a great idea. Thanks for your insights and shares. It's been great to have you all. We get to sit and talk culture quite a bit when the times we get to have the opportunity to be together just as neighbors. And just want to encourage too, just for those who watch the week and things, to really listen and learn because we are a very multicultural country, and we've got so much that we can learn from each other, and so much that the other cultures have to offer. And just even for this simulcast that we're trying to do, I want to do them weekly, just with the different cultures that are around in America. And so if you're somebody that would be interested in being a part of just sharing your culture with us, I would love to know. You can just message me, and we will find a way to connect and set something up. But I appreciate you two taking the time tonight to just share your lives a little bit with us and what it means to be a part of America and bring your culture here to us. So thank you. And
thank you, Pastor Eric. Thank you for welcoming us to your show. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and we will look forward to seeing you across the street.
Okay, see you soon, sir. See you.
You have a good evening.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Pastor Eric.